1, 2, 3. Like I said in my little kid flag football team. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Not calling you guys little kids. But anyway, if everybody can come on here and grab a seat, this next portion of this meetup is going to be the education part. The first hour is networking, next hour is education, and then you guys continue to build these incredible relationships and get the most out of your time you've invested here. Yes, look at this. I'm excited to introduce to all of you my good friends here. So for some of you, this is your first night. I want to give a big shout out to Jason Jones over here. We got a lot of folks invited from True North. You guys have a small group, and man, I'm so glad to have you guys here. And Jason, thank you so much for bringing everybody here. So this is this event is facilitated from a community called The Harvest. And the idea of The Harvest is to continue to grow a community of people that are focused on growing both personally and professionally, right? It's not just networking. We do want to network, but we also want to grow and learn at the same time. And how we do that is, once a month, we host these events. These are free to the community to continue to serve our community by learning from some great entrepreneurs and help make connections. And then virtually every Wednesday from 7 to 8 a.m., we bring in speakers from all over the world in all types of different businesses or all coaching aspects. I can't even say that word. Ask you, I'm saying it anytime. But, we talk about mental, physical, spiritual, all that good stuff too. So the idea is to win in all aspects of life, not just win in one. So I want to welcome you guys and I want to thank you guys. And this event, what we are focused on, the topic of this event is creating a compelling vision for your company and also how to execute it, right? Because one of the big things in life in general, you can get all the information, you can sit there and consume, but if you don't execute, nothing will happen. Then that just leads to frustration. So we're definitely going to hit on some of the execution aspects of it. But to come up here and speak, we have two great friends of mine who I've known for a very long time. And, when I bring in people to speak at these events or virtually, I'm very intentional with who I want to expose to my brothers and sisters in The Harvest and whoever, because at the end of the day, they have to represent what my values are in one way or another. And not only do they build incredible companies, but they also are incredible people. And one of the things that I always think about when it comes to creating a compelling vision for your company, that also is tied to your brand. And one very important thing to know about your brand is your brand is tied to what people say about you when you're not around. And these two gentlemen, since I've known them for probably a decade now, when I met them, I was, 37? I'm at some of these network events. I'm in my, mid-20s. When I first started getting out to these networking events, I was very intimidated because everybody was older than me. And these guys treated me just like every other person in that room. And that says a lot about them. And I've watched their success and their example that they set in their leadership. And I'm very proud to bring them to you guys because I know you're going to be in incredible hands to learn how to grow an amazing business. But not just that, be an amazing person and an amazing leader in your communities, because that's what it's about. So first, I want to introduce, when we talk about creating a compelling vision, I want to introduce our first panelist or our first speaker. We have Ryan Regina, CEO of Big Sky Enterprises. And we talk about creating a vision. One fun fact I want to share with you, when you see this building that we're in right now, and if you look over across the street, that's my church that I go to, Marlton Assembly of God. There was just a big expansion there. Ryan and his company actually built this, right? So we're not just talking about things. I'm bringing people who actually do it. So I'm excited. If everybody wants to give a round of applause to Ryan Regina of Big Sky Enterprises LLC. Ryan and his brother and his family are part of this business too. His brother's awesome. He lives in South Carolina, but they have been nothing but great people and mentors to me. So just want to make sure I extend my appreciation and gratitude to you, Ryan. Our next speaker, again, is just another person who everybody knows, but not just knows, values, says nothing but great things about. is continuing to build an incredible company with an incredible name. And, you know, the one thing that I always look at when you think of a leader is who are they building up, you know, who are they building up with them, right? And the talent and the people that they attract to be around them. When I think of Mike Pelosi, who's the next speaker, I immediately think about all the young talent that he's building up to be the next generation of leaders that these guys are. And, you know, for what I want for everybody, and some of you are, you know, go to church and stuff like that too, which me too. You know, we talk about building and continuing to bring disciples and build up disciples, stuff like that. And when it comes to business, it's the same aspect, man. It's like, you know, a true example of who somebody is looking at who he's building up around them. And he's the prime example of just continuing to not only build a great business, but continue to raise talent and build talent under him too. And that's tied to the vision. So Michael Pelosi, everybody give him a round of applause. I'm excited to have you guys wait for me. So I'm going to be, well, you guys can pass the mic back and forth. I'm still kind of new at this whole like panel discussion stuff. This is harder than it looks, so I just want to make sure that you guys all know that. But in order to give you guys the most value while you're here, one of the things that I've figured out to do is kind of just, you know, I sent a bunch of questions actually over to Ryan, and I said, what would you think are the top 4 questions that would give the most value to business owners, business professionals in here who are trying to build a business, or a lot of this can be relatable to your life too. And he went and picked 4 questions that we felt would give you guys the most value. And that's kind of what we're going to go through. I'm going to ask these questions and they're going to give answers. And the one thing that I want to say to everybody too is when I talk about being present, be where your feet are, guys, try not to multitask, right? There's information. You may hear one thing that can change your business, change your life, change your mindset. So please, not only just for this, but in life, just try and practice being where your feet are, being present where you're at. And most importantly too, we're here to get better, right? So nobody's perfect, and I want you guys to always get the most out of, you know, the investment in time that you spent. So please ask questions, right? Whatever it is, whether it's life, business, you name it, just please remember to ask questions. We encourage questions to be asked and take notes. So let me get to the first question. Again, topics, creating a compelling vision for your company and executing it. The first question: what are the key elements that make a vision statement truly compelling? I'm going to repeat that. What are the key elements that make a vision statement truly compelling? We'll start with Mr. Pelosi. Yeah, I love it. Yes, that. Yeah.
So before I answer that,
Why don't you tell everybody, sorry, I messed up already. Introduce you and explain to everybody what your company is, what they do, where you're located.
So thank you. Thank you for having me out here tonight. It's a great pleasure. It's being honored to speak to your group, so thank you. So my name is Michael Pelosi. I'm the president of HFM Investment Advisors, and I have an investment advisory firm in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've been in the industry for 35 years now, and we have a team of 12 in our office and continuing to grow, as Evan said. We focus mostly with advising entrepreneurs to on the growth path of their business, whether it's taking them from one level of success to the next, or a lot of work that we've been doing lately is helping them think about the next strategy of either planning their succession plan, or a lot of times a lot of this could be thinking about selling to PE or private equity firms. So we help them through all phases of their financial life, whether it's investing, taxes, estate planning, whatever that may be. So that's where our firm is kind of helping out. So could you repeat that question again?
Yeah, pretty well. It's okay. Well, Guy, why don't you share what your company is first? Give yourself an introduction, start with our speaker.
Thanks, you did. Great introduction too, by the way. Well done. Ryan Regina with Big Sky. We are a commercial development and construction management firm. We started the company, my brother and I started the company in 2003. Our service offerings are pretty vast, so we can handle anything from really concept all the way through CO of a building. So if a client comes to us and says, hey, we need land, we need a 40,000 square foot building, and we want to be in Toms River or Deptford, we can walk them through every single step along the way, whether it's helping them find the property, do some site feasibility studies, negotiate the purchase of the property, ultimately get the site civil design, get them through all the entitlement process, local, county, state, get them through architectural, get them through the permitting process. If they need help with financing, we can help finance the project, and through our relationships, not us personally. We're not rolling like that. So, and then ultimately manage the construction. So we can be like all things to all men in that stance. Most of the work that we do is just straight GC work, where we'll come in, the client may have an approval, they may have the plans, and we'll just maybe help them get their plans or bid their plans, get their permits, and then manage the construction. So we really can be anything at the moment. All the work that we do is private work. We do anything, really everything except high rises and hospitals. So we've done daycare centers, car washes, car dealerships, nurseries. We've done a lot of church facilities. We're in one now. Church facilities, warehouses, all private, no public work, and just celebrated 21 years this year.
Good stuff, man. So, it's good that you told me to repeat that question, because I realized I actually need to say it a little bit better. So this first question is talking about a vision statement, right? And, as with performance coaching and just in general, the one thing that I found when you see somebody who's uninspired, or, somebody who's really not getting after, maybe it's an employee for your company, or maybe you're just, I've been in this 5 years or 10 years, and I just really don't have that fire in me now. I'm really not going above and beyond. I'm not really giving 110%. And a lot of times, because the vision for their company is not inspiring enough, that lights a fire under them to really get after it every single day, right? So this first question is going to be about what are the key elements to a vision statement, or the vision statement of your company, or what you find that were key elements to help you craft your vision statement. But first, within that question, Mike, I would just want to know, what is your vision statement for your company? Like, what is the vision for your company? And, like, how did you come about that? Some people right now maybe don't have, crazy thing is, some people don't have, like, the end vision or goal for their company. Or some people, have a vision for it, right? Or maybe it's like they've been thinking about, I don't really know how to create a vision. Like, what helped you create that vision after you explained to us what it was?
Yeah.
That you could share.
So it's a good question. We don't talk about this that much, but what created the vision for each of them? So a little background, I've been in the industry for 35 years. And I started out as an intern at Mass Mutual when I was at Rutgers, the Rutgers Camden. And I wanted to get into some type of financial industry, but I really didn't have any guidance or directions. Rutgers really didn't have an internship program, and I kind of created on my own and found Mass Mutual, a life insurance company, was in Philadelphia Center City at the time. And lo and behold, I had an internship and created one for Mass Mutual and Rutgers. And so after I graduated, I went into the financial services industry selling life insurance. It was a great career for me, started my family, and I did really well. But what I found out looking back on my career when I was about 20 years into it was that the training that they provided to a lot of life insurance agencies, agents or individuals coming into the industry, and this is not a mark to say anything bad about the life insurance industry, this is more of a fact than anything else, is that they would bring in a lot of individuals just to try and sell a product to a family. To me, it's very important because life insurance is very personal for your family. It helps them out in tough situations. And so what I found out is they taught individuals to sell products regardless of the individual's needs. And that really kind of turned me off. So over time, I left Mass Mutual and I went out on my own. And the vision, what I'm getting to, the vision is I wanted to create a company where it was opposite the way that we would bring in young advisors, not on a commission base, but on a salary base, so that they could come in and they could train and they can be educated on what they need to do to help individuals and see a career path where they're not pressured to sell their family and friends in investment or insurance just to put food on their table. So we wanted to turn the model upside down and bring them in through college, through internships, and the vision was to build a financial services firm that someone could start as an intern and see that they can work in this firm as their career and have a career path for them for the rest of their life. And that's what we created. When I left MassMutual on our own, there was only 3 of us, me and my partner Jason and an assistant. Now we have a total of 12 full-time individuals, including myself, and every one who is working with us now, who's going to be on the financial advisory career path, all but one has started as an intern. My partner started as an intern with me. 4 other advisors has come on board. They started out as an intern with us, and it was a win-win. And so I saw that after the second intern, that how happy they were that they saw a career path. So the vision was turn the industry upside down on the way we train financial advisors so that they can have a career path and ownership on their own.
2 things I was thinking bring up some points too. One, I don't know if you heard, but an intern actually turned into a partner. You hear it all the time, I can't find talent, I can't find help. I had like this past summer, the first time a parent wanted to, hey, my kid intern with you. I never even knew intern whatever, I never done it in my life. And it was the greatest thing ever. And this kid was so excited, he gave he just wanted it. It was an awesome experience, and I shared with people in the community. I'm like, guys, you should probably start looking at these interns, right? And sometimes you can be grooming up like the next all-star in your company. That's a case in point. His intern is now his partner. That's some pretty cool stuff. And the other point I want to drive home too, what helped him, what I heard anyway, what helped him create his vision is identifying what he didn't want, right? And one of the, a powerful analogy or exercise to do when you think about like what it is you want out of your life or your new career or, just when we talk about vision, so many people think about what they do want, right? It's like, oh, I want this, I want that, or, within your new career. But one exercise I heard this from Jesse Itzel, write down everything you don't want, right? And that's a powerful exercise, and it makes it a lot easier to identify, to craft your vision. You know what, it's actually more important to figure out, what I don't want, what I do not, what I don't want. And it makes it so much easier to craft the vision for your life, your new career, or your business. Now, if you heard, it was like it helped. Is that correct? I mean, it was like you saw what you didn't want, or what you didn't like in your first career, and you wanted to craft the new vision on everything you wanted to subtract, and it helped you craft that vision. So I just want to make sure you guys understood that. Again, this is relatable to everybody in here, right? So I just want to make sure you guys don't miss this stuff. Let's go to Ryan. You picked this first. All right, what's the vision for your company, right? And what did you find for you were the key elements in crafting that vision? So for him, it was like, from my past job, I didn't like this stuff, so I knew going forward, this is what I wanted to create. What's the vision for your company, and what helped you craft that vision?
Okay. So, when we started in 03, my brother, I was 26, my brother was 29. Okay, we got into the industry, the economy was booming, we had work, we were turning down work, I mean, it was just awesome. And then 08 came, and everything just came crashing down, and we were probably a month or 2 away from declaring, from filing. It wasn't until that point that we said, you know what, we need some help. We reached out to a friend who had met in one of our networking groups, who was a business coach, and he came in and he helped us. And he said, "Well, what's your vision?" We said, "What does that even mean?" So we sat down. He helped us with organizational structure. He helped us map out like a 3 to 5 year plan. He kind of extracted out of us what we want, what don't we want, and put together a vision statement that is no longer our vision statement. 15 years from removed from that, our business has changed. Our what we want has evolved, if you will. So I mean, don't be scared to put a vision statement that may change. That's okay. I think our vision statement in the beginning is kind of funny, but you know what? You're 20, you're 30 years old, you don't care, you're going to do whatever. So I think our first vision statement was to develop and build on all 6 habitable continents in the world, right? So it was cool. It was something that we thought was audacious, right? BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. it's not that we gave up on it. It's just that, things change, kids happen and, your priorities change. And though we didn't directly develop and build on every single continent, God has an awesome way of proving himself strong in your life. We ended up supporting a lot of missionaries across the world. And we did not directly develop and build in all 6 continents, but 5 out of 6 we have financially supported the development of facilities, of schools and churches across the world. So that's cool. Today, our vision statement, well, let me say this. Before I tell you what my vision statement is today and what our mission statement is, what I learned now is that your vision statement, like so many things in business, you need to get to the point, right? Like I talk fast because I have a fear that maybe you don't want to hear what I have to say. So I'm going to say it as fast as I can so you can get to his answer, right? So get to the point, right? So it should be brief, it should be quick, and it should talk about what you do a little bit, not in great detail. There should be a little audacity in there, but it should be attainable, right? If you know, like, who's here heard of like the SMART acronym for goal setting, right? SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, achievable, relevant, and time specific. So maybe not all those would be apropos here, but you could probably pull out specific, you could pull out achievable and relevant, and maybe, you pepper in some audacity on that, John, right? So, that could be a good start if you don't have it. Today, our vision statement is to be a premier commercial construction management firm in our region. Boom, done, that's it, right? Our mission statement gets a bit more specific on what we're going to do. Our mission statement is to provide unparalleled customer experience and to provide a superior product in the commercial construction industry, right? So as you get down and dig deeper, you start to peel back that onion as to what your service offerings are going to be. But Devin brought up a great point. Your vision is your brand to you, right? The marketplace doesn't care about your vision, right? It's for you. It's for your business, for your people.
Good stuff. Great answer, my lord. All right, next question. What role does employee feedback play in shaping the company's vision? So, employee feedback, right? A lot of times, if you want your people, employees, managers, like a lot of times, you'll hear from coaches, consultants, like, you want them to be a part of it because now they have to own it. So, like, when they're a part of it, now there's more accountability and structure. It's like, yo, listen, we are now doing this together. Now, I don't know, like, in regards to this question, like, let's just talk about employees. Do you guys share your vision a lot with your employees? And going back to the question, with that vision, did you, like, actually just, like, and I don't know if this is something that you did, but, like, were the employees involved with, like, crafting the vision? Did they have anything to do with kind of, like, how you crafted the vision? Did they have a role in it? Anything like that? That's supposed to go back to you. You can start.
All right. No, they did not. For us, they did not. Not direct influence. Maybe indirect influence, if that makes sense. Like, the behaviors, the things that we're good at as a company. But, I guess to answer the question that you first asked is, should they be involved? I guess it's relative, right? I mean, some should, some shouldn't. I guess it's a case-by-case basis. Depending on your company size, I don't know if you have to survey all of your employees or not. I don't know if all of them are there for that. You can certainly distinguish what value they can and can't bring. There's certainly, I would certainly recommend counsel if you're looking to craft the vision, no matter what company size you have. There's something to be said about good counsel, right? I mean, Proverbs 11:4, there is safety in the multitude of counsel, good counsel. So when we first crafted our first one, we had good counsel. We had counsel with our second one. But as for your employees, I really think it's a case-by-case basis. You have to discern what they can bring.
Awesome. What you might?
I think that as a leader of the company, and I consider myself the visionary of the company, I think it's important that we set what the vision of the company should look like and what we are trying to attain as a company, either for our clients or for our team members. So I believe that's important that we communicate what that vision is and what I'm trying to see for the future. But we need the feedback from our team, because without our team members, we don't have a future. And so we communicate what that is, but then we are very involved, my partner Jason and I are very involved in getting our team involved in all parts of the business in terms of wanting to know what they feel, what they see, how they can help shape and allow our vision to come to fruition. Because if it wasn't for us getting their feedback, a lot of times we would have thought that our employees would see exactly the same way that we would achieve one of the goals. And I always say that we talk to ourselves a lot of time. If I come up with an idea or a vision, of course I think it's going to be great because it's my idea, right? But when you communicate that to someone else and they repeat it back and they're like, oh, did I really say that? Or that's not what I really meant. Is that what you heard? Then we get their feedback and we start to change it a little bit and tweak it. Just so that we can all buy in, because we want everybody in our company to buy in to the exact same vision. They may see it differently, but that we're all rowing in the same boat in the same direction to get there. So we communicate with our employees throughout the entire year. There's many different ways that we do that, but I think it's critical that our employees understand our vision, help shape it, help change it over time.
Awesome. And just to add to that too, you guys may see back there, there's a drink that's made by a company called First Form. It's a guy named Andy Frisilla, and that company's valued at like probably $2 billion plus. And one of the things, and this is just what I've done in my life too, is like when you craft a vision, you know, he always said, one, I would always be evangelical with sharing my vision with my employees. Like everybody needed to know where we're going, right? And it had to be clear, because a lot of times your people aren't ride or die for you because they don't even know where you're going. They're just there for a paycheck. What's up, Pastor Devin?
Hey man, how are you?
I'm doing good. That guy's probably the best voice in South Jersey. Just so you know. But the reason why, like, it's just this groundwork, and it's some of this through my journey of, you know, having speakers in the community, from interviewing people who own these big companies, through paying coaches myself. And it's like, man, why can't I get more out of my employees, right? What's going on here, right? I pay them enough. And a lot of times, one of the things, it's because you're not creating a compelling vision, but not only that, you're not consistently sharing it with them, right? Where we're going. And one of the things that he talked about was, even when we had this small office, he was like, we had this small supplement store, and I had a picture of what our next building was going to look like. And he goes, what I also did was, I went and drove and touched a bit, drove to it, saw it, touched it, felt it, of the exact building that I wanted to move my company to, right? So he had the picture there. When all of his employees were walking by, they saw that. This is where we're going. This is where we're going. This is where we're taking it. And sure enough, there's a whole nother topic when it comes to manifestation and really getting deep into seeing, touching, feeling, and believing where you're going. But because he was so all in on that vision, one, it was compelling for his employees, and they went all in for him, because he also shared what is their life going to look like when this company gets to here. That's the other thing too. It's not just what's in it for you, it's what's in it for them when you take your company there and they're clear on where it's going. But I just want to drive that point home, man. It's like when you have that vision, consistently share it, consistently show it, see it, touch it, feel it, go there, drive, whatever it is. But, you know, just as much as you can, make it real. Because like these guys are the example of it. It's like, man, be evangelical with it. And I promise you, like some of your people, and you share with them what's in it for them too, it will go a long way. And I'll give you another example real quick. Speaking of manifestation, I recently was in New York, and I was sitting at this table, and anybody heard of Napoleon Hill? Raise your hand if you ever heard of Napoleon Hill, right? So, and it was a set that I skipped for a very long time. It's like, when you ask for these things, right, one of the steps that book tells you to do, Think and Grow Rich, is if you get blessed with that, what are you going to do with it? Right? That is an actual step that book teaches that I've never even knew of. Right? And even with my prayers, too, I went so deep, and he actually talks about this, too. When you're praying, when you're asking for God for this, like, what are you going to do with it? If I bless you with this, what are you going to do with it? And that ties into when you share that compelling vision, you got to let your people know what's in it for them. Right? And I think that could really help there. So, I don't know, did you want to add something?
I did. Just speaking, adding on that for manifestation. So I'm a big believer my whole life. One good thing, and when I talk about Mass Mutual, I don't want to make it seem it was negative because they provide a lot of the things for me in my life. One of them was understanding about manifestation and putting your goals down and all that stuff. So I still have written on pieces of paper from 1989 when I was still in college, all the visualization of things that I wanted to do in my life. And I kept all that. And one of the exercises we did with our current company, because I would come back from all these coaching programs, and I come back all fired up and have all these great ideas and new visions. And what I told you last quarter, it's different because I have a whole new idea this quarter and change it all. And they would appreciate that. But one of the things I realized as we put out a vision was that although they were buying into our vision, that's great. What they needed to do, what I thought that they should do on their own, is they should all have their own vision board. Because I'm a big believer in vision boards. I don't know if you guys have ever put a vision board together, but it is super powerful and it works. It just works. So we did an exercise probably about 6 months ago. I brought in a couple of my old vision boards, and there was things on there that they're like, oh, you wanted that car, you're driving that now. Like crazy stuff that has happened over my life that the vision board happened. But what happened in our office, which was really cool, we had everybody like had their own project. I made them do it with their family at home. Because if they did it with their family at home, their spouse is going to buy into it, their kids are going to buy into it. And they did, family boards were home. They all brought it in and we made them, we did it as a project. But everybody put up their vision board in the conference room and they went through all the different things on the vision board and why it was important to them. And it was so cool to just watch them take on their own vision and manifest things that's going to happen in their lives. So I thought that was really cool. So for those of you who have employees, if you don't have a vision board, you should definitely do it. So you should try that exercise because it really works. It just brings a different feeling into the office that everybody's on the same page. It's like very personal, but not like personal that you expose too much. It's just personal.
So, and I completely forgot to land a plane on that one story. So when I mentioned I was in New York for this dinner, I was sitting at this table, and it was a dinner that my business coach hosted. And sure enough, and the night before, I had it on my iPod, the Napoleon Hill tracks I was listening to. Sitting at this dinner, and one of the ladies stands up, she's sitting next to me the whole time. I said hi to her, talked to her, but I was in conversation with people to my left for a long time, so I didn't really get what she did. Next thing you know, they were giving David an award. And they gave him a personal check framed that was signed by Napoleon Hill because now David's in charge of, or he's involved some way or another with running the Napoleon Hill Foundation, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is crazy. Like this lady was sitting right here, and when she sat back down, I'm like, what do you have to do with Napoleon? How'd you get that? She was like, I run the Napoleon Hill Foundation. She's like, you know what? It just reminded me. She was like, you know what I just felt? I'm supposed to give you this. She was like, this is from the archives of Napoleon Hill, and gave me this thing, from his archives. And I was like, this is insane. And I took my phone out, and literally the first thing I get goosebumps talking about this. The first thing on my iPod thing was listening to one of Napoleon Hill's tapes. It was crazy. But anyway, again, guys, this is just driving home. It gets so deep when you talk about creating that vision, seeing it, touching it, feeling it. And then I love what Mike was just saying too about when you get your people around you to when you get that vision out of them and you challenge them to do that, what you are doing for them, not many people in their life that's ever done. And that's a powerful thing when it comes to your leadership and how they will fight to be in business with you for a long time too. So good stuff there. So we're going to finish up. We got another question here. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are just starting to develop their company vision, right? All right, this makes sense. I'm fired up now. Like Mike Pelosi said, I'm fired up. Like, I got to get this going. And I'm trying to manifest some cool stuff. I'm trying to make this stuff become a reality. Back to this question, what advice, and especially because you crafted it and you've achieved it, right? Is there any advice for somebody creating that vision that maybe you've learned from your journey in entrepreneurship? And I have a follow-up question with that. If there's anything that like pops up in your subconscious when you talk about your beginning vision to where it's at now, what advice would you give?
So I would say that, you kind of hit on it a little bit, but I mean, in the beginning, if you're in a startup, you are the visionary. In some instances, you are the vision, if you will, especially if you have a couple employees. So certainly take heart in that, because as your business grows, as your business evolves, 6 months, 12 months, and your whole business service offerings will change. You can change markets, you can change verticals, your whole business model could change in 12 or 18 months. Really good. And with that, be flexible. I don't know if your bad vision is going to cause you to go bankrupt. This is really bad, outrageous. But you should be around people, surrounded with people that can help you do a course correct. Some people, I know if you had asked me in 2003, 2004 about creating a vision statement, I would have said, listen, vision statement is, I'm going to go out and work, I'm going to get it done, and leave me alone. This is the real world. As you hear Devin, as you hear Michael, the reality is if you don't have a vision, if you don't know where you're going, then you're going to be tossed to and fro every wave of the sea, and you're just going to land wherever the markets push you, wherever your situations and circumstances push you. So you need vision. Proverbs 29:18, Devin.
Where there is no vision,
There is no vision that people perish. So if the creator of the universe thinks it's important for us to have a vision, that's good. Look at you. Good job. I think it's good for us to have a vision. Yeah.
something like
I agree. Have any of you ever read the book? I know the author is Simon Sinek. I never pronounced the last name. Start with why, right? So that's what if you're starting out, right, you may not have a well-crafted vision when you're just starting out. It's about build, right? You don't know, but we all want to make a lot of money, but if you start out and if your vision is, I want to make a lot of money, that's not going to last very long. If a why, if there's a why behind your vision of what you're doing, there's a passion about it, the money will come eventually, right? And there's all the parts around building a business that make you have to have a successful business. Professional team, all that stuff. Without the why, they can know why that is your vision. So what is the vision? I said earlier, the why was I wanted to get advisors on the right path. I said earlier. So that's basically, my part of that is being young, starting out a new business or starting out your first businesses. What is your why? And then just follow that with passion, and then the business will grow, people will follow, and hopefully make it.
So one thing that I was like 24, 25, didn't have a company at the time, but one of the ministers in our church challenged the young people, I was a young adult at the time, to create a vision statement for ourselves, and we did. So I still do it. And so I would challenge you. I mean, we talk about business, we talk about what we do in the marketplace, and those are all great things. They are great things. They allow us to do things that maybe we couldn't do if we didn't pursue those to help our family, help our community, employ people. Those are great things. But I would challenge you guys to even go a step back further and say, what's my personal vision statement? What's my vision statement for my family? How does that relate? Because our business vision statement really has to connect and tie into what we are personally, right? Because we're more than just a business. I'm a father, I'm an amazing husband. It's tough marketing. Tough marketing. Receding hairline in the back. So yeah, I would definitely encourage you guys to do that.
Awesome. I want to give Ryan a shout out too, because what was it, like 5 years ago, and this is also in regards to like helping me continue, because when you craft a vision, the advice I will give you guys is a lot of times you'll craft a vision and you'll tie it to your past, you'll tie it to your limiting beliefs. You'll tie, oh, nobody in my family's ever done that. Like they're doing, you get a lack of belief with where you want to go with your vision. And all, one thing that I will say is, like dream, like operate more in your dreams and reality than your current situation, right? And I remember I think it was last month, we had a UFC world champion, Eddie Alvarez, come up here. And he talked about the power of his vision board. When he lived in Kensington, his parents left him when he was 18 years old. Usually you move out, they moved out, left him, and he had this vision board. He was reading books, and they thought it was incredible. And he achieved everything that he was on his vision board. And the one regret that he said he had was, he was like, I wish I would have asked bigger. Knowing how powerful it is now, I regret not asking bigger because of the power of knowing that it's all attainable. So, I just want to share that with you guys. Think big, dream big, and cast this vision as if nobody can tell you no. The answer was no. Don't think about your past, your current situation, none of that stuff. But on the other end, we talk about big visions. And, there was a story that popped up in my mind, and I would love to hear your advice on this, because maybe there are also people that you know too, that built big, amazing companies. But there's always one thing too, when we get so caught up, and I love that Ryan brought up like your vision for you as a person in general, because it all is tied to your business. Because sometimes we can get so caught up and eaten up by our business, right? And everything else, it passes by, your relationships, your health, all that stuff. And there's one story that I heard, and it was somebody told this story about, they saw this fisherman, and he was out, and he was catching all this fish, and the guy that was fishing that, he couldn't catch anything. And he starts like, man, how do you do this? How do you do this? And he was like, look, I'm fishing this one spot, I got all this stuff going on. And he was like, man, you're so good at this. And he started talking to him about man, since you're good at this, what you could do is you could take, all this fish and you could sell it to this. And he's like, really? And he's like, well, all right, cool. Like, what else can I do? He's like, then when you sell this fish to that person, then you can make enough money to buy a boat. And he was like, then you can start, a company, right? He's like, cool. He's like, well, all right, what would I do after that? Then when you start making, this guy kept on talking about all these things that he could do to continue to build this company and get more and more and more and more and more. And then he was like, when he got to the end, he was like, then you can sell the company for this. And he was like, then what would I do after that? And then he's like, then you could just sit around and fish, like do this. And he was like, oh, what I'm doing now, right? So I say that story because, when you really think about it, when you craft your vision on truly what you think success is, right? It doesn't have to be what everybody the sell for 8, 9 figures here, because let me tell you something, right now we're in the church across the street. One of the things that, if you ever heard of billionaires committing suicide, is because they don't have fulfillment. They have the money, but there's a hole inside of them, right? So it's much more than just achieving money, right? True success and fulfillment. And the reason why I say that is craft your vision on what truly fulfills you and makes you happy. It doesn't necessarily have to be building a 100-person company or selling for this, or because a lot of times what you will find, you're just making these decisions based off of what you think will impress other people too. So be very intentional with truly what you want out of your vision, because what you don't want to do, and I've learned this from Pastor Greg Ford out in Ohio State. Nothing to do with Ohio State, it's in Ohio, so naturally I just say Ohio State. But, you know, one of the big things, like, man, a big fear is climbing to the top of a mountain and getting there and be like, man, I really didn't want to climb this, right? So I just want to leave that with you guys, because for some reason that story was speaking in my mind as we talked about vision, because it can get so crazy. I want my company to be bigger, bigger, bigger. Like sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm much happier just being way more like involved with my kids and stuff and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's like sometimes I make decisions. I'm like, and I try being a believer, like, all right, through a God lens. It's like, why am I even thinking about doing this? Like, well, like, I forget the word you tie behind it, but just question your motives, right? And I remember one of our speakers in the Harvest, you know, Super 60, he's like, that's one thing I always learn to do is like whenever somebody brings something to me, an opportunity, a business, like we all want to be like, oh man, let me make money on that, let me get after it. But I've had opportunities to speak with some high-level business people that I've met, relationships, and I'm like, you know, I'll talk about opportunities, and it's crazy how quick they are to say no, right? And that, whether you know it or not, has to do with them being very clear on their vision, right? Because when you get that deep into it, you'll run it through the filter to where it's either, no, like, look, that you could possibly make money in that, but that's not where I want to go, right? And that's also the importance of knowing and being clear on your vision, because when you're clear on your vision, you just won't take any opportunity that comes your way. And it actually could potentially save you a lot of money and save you relationships and all that stuff too. So that's also the importance of knowing your values, what you want. Maybe it's, you know, you want to have this big godly goal and do all this stuff, but sometimes don't craft this crazy vision just because you feel everybody wants to hear it. You know, because you put yourself through hell. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like I put myself through hell every day because I'm like thinking about where I should be, what I should be doing. I'm like, man, like, dude, take a step back, look around. You know what I mean? So, anyway, anybody have any questions? Let's go ahead, Tom. And just pass the mic along.
Mike, Brian, thank you very much for coming, sharing from your heart. Question, because everybody, as you start building your company, inevitably you have some setbacks and different things happen, so successes and downfalls. How would you say, like, as your vision changed, did you, as you encountered the setbacks, did you say you changed some of the vision? Did you clarify the vision? Did you make the vision bigger? Like,
So when we changed our vision last from the international takeover.
That's worldwide.
Anyway, it was really in the middle of a good season of our business, so it was really something that we kind of sat back and just said, are we really doing this? This is not really who we are. It was kind of like just an internal assessment at the time that we did, and it wasn't a function or a result of a struggle that was happening at the time. The first time we crafted the vision, it really was a function of turmoil that we had faced through 08, through really 07, 08, and then into 09. But really, you know, the best time to start is now, right? I mean, and to not be afraid to start, not be afraid to craft the vision. If you are afraid, do it afraid, right? So it's not. There's no perfect time to do it. Right? There's no perfect time to fail, and there's no perfect time to succeed. I would just say, go and do it. Take inventory. Get counsel around you that you can trust. People who are truly invested in your growth, and it may only be a couple of people, right? and protect that vision, right? Especially, when we're young and in business and we've got all this energy and we want to take over the world and we want, and I don't disagree with what you said earlier, Deb, about, evangelizing your vision. I would say with caution, not everyone's rooting for you to succeed. There's people that are close to you that are rooting for you to fail, sadly. So protect the vision, right? It's Matthew 7:6 says, don't give to dogs what is sacred and don't cast your pearls to pigs, because those pigs will trample on your pearls, turn around, and tear you up to pieces. So I would do everything you can. Once you get it, you're firm with it, go forward, do it. If you got to pivot 6 to 12 months, you do that. You pivot 6 to 12 months. Don't change your vision every 6 months, because then no one's going to follow you. But get the counsel you need, people you can trust, someone like a Devin, to help you craft it. So nothing you can answer the question. Pigs. It's true. We're Cowboys fans.
Just a little bit. We did pivot our vision a little bit over time, and Ryan kind of hit it on the list when you're young, and maybe as a single without any kids, you think you can take over the world, and you get all the time in the world, and you get all the right answers. And my vision was big, make lots of money, but gray hair, maturity changes the perspective of life, right? Even the biggest perspective, well, not biggest, one of the perspectives I had about 5 years ago, one high school buddy of mine, just very healthy, just had a heart attack and passed away. Left his family behind. And so, as much as I wanted to build a big business and have lots of money, I don't have an extravagant lifestyle. I like nice things, but why do you need to put your whole life through chaos and your family through chaos to have all this money? What are you going to do with it? If you can't enjoy the money with your family and your friends today, then what's the reason why you're trying to go crazy? Have all these businesses be worth $1 billion. You can't enjoy it with your family. You're going to die. Your family's going to enjoy it without you. Maybe not. So I changed at least, not major, but my vision was a lot bigger. Not that I made it smaller, but I made it more relatable to me, my family, so that I can enjoy more time with my family and friends. And also related that to clients. There's a lot of clients got money and family and retirement. And that vision has helped us with our clients also as we change it to, you're saving for retirement someday. You may not want to spend all that money in retirement, but how can you enjoy it with your family now while you're here? Because if you're not here tomorrow, you're going to leave them all this money, and they're going to go on that vacation without talk about the good times. So why not spend it with them now? So our vision changed to be more focused on family, spending more time with family and friends than it was working 24/7. So we pivoted, but in a different direction. So it's important. So not just every 6 months. There's got to be a reason.
Well, first of all, Ryan, it was really nice talking to you and meeting you out there. Good job on quoting the scriptures of the boss. That was good stuff. I like that. Michael, Howard, this question is for you. So you had mentioned that you are a wealth manager to entrepreneurs. So how is it different to be a wealth advisor to an entrepreneur as opposed to simply a regular employee?
That's a great question.
Shit.
Entrepreneurs are psycho. I relate well to entrepreneurs because I am myself, right? So I always, when speaking with entrepreneurs, I always let them know that if you are working with a wealth manager, one, you should work with someone who is an entrepreneur, not an employee. The difference, in my opinion, and this is no disrespect for employees at all, is that I like getting very excited about watching entrepreneurs' dreams and watch them turn in 12 different directions every 6 months. and want the big goals, where most employees, again, no disrespect, they work for a company, they have a 401k plan. They're very routine, and we want to do as best as we can for those employees and for their family. But doing this for 35 years, I don't get as excited working with them as I do with entrepreneurs, because I like to help them grow up with their adversities by positive coaching with them. All the things that I learned in groups like this with Devin, and I've belonged to a lot of entrepreneurial coaching classes, I like sharing that knowledge with them. So it excites me more. And they have more projects. They have their business. They have real estate. They maybe sell their business, buying another business. And so I ask them that before you make those big decisions, just talk to us first so we can help you through it. So to me, it's just more exciting. There's more challenge to it. And I need that experience. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Is there any other questions?
I wanted to say something. I'm a shameless plug for those here. So, I don't know when we came to your firm, but I think you are a third financial planner over the past 25 years or so. And just what a difference this guy and his team do. I'm not a paid advertiser, so, but the first two we had were okay, they were good, but they never really took care of us. They didn't care. They weren't excited. They weren't energized for what we did. Mike, I think that everything he's saying, everything you're saying tonight is the truth, right? Except the crazy entrepreneur part, that's not true. And I just wanted to say again, thank you. You guys are awesome. You're awesome. If someone's looking, his team is 10%. 10%.
I'm going to try and craft my question first. This is also Piper, I have notes and I wish there was what you're doing, figure out the value that is being offered right now. Oh, you're killing it. Oh, that's so good. I've been to a lot of sales training, and this is not much training, but like just things like this, and this is just so much knowledge and which is so good. So thank you. I'm presidential loan officer at the beginning of my career, in like 4 or 5 years, and it take years to a lot of people in the industry. With an opportunity in front of me to start a team. My pilot light is lit. Gasoline is going to be built on very soon, and I'm just curious, just to kind of circle back on the feedback from an employee. I usually find that I give my feedback every day, and I'm curious, what would you say? How do you get that feedback on day one? And how do I get somebody to buy into my vision in an industry that everybody has rates, everybody has the tech. Everybody has the same stuff. I don't want to get somebody to buy into my personal brand and
Say someone buying, you mean someone that's going to work in your team?
Yes.
A customer in the marketplace.
okay. Somebody that's going to come to my team. I probably one. My intention is to become a branch manager or similar. Say it again. Just for living. Costs a lot of money. My skills are in.
All right, we can gang up on
All
her
right,
later.
fine.
Let's get the first one.
I can send you
And just say-
investors if anybody wants to invest. But yeah.
So why do people, you sell mortgages now, and your rates are similar to other people's rates in the industry. Why do people go and do deals with you?
I am local.
Okay.
I do a lot of local stuff. I'm born and raised in Marlton, but
Okay.
I am present, which a lot of people in my position say that they are, but they're really not.
Okay.
And that kind of sets me apart because people, I had said this a couple of times tonight, and I heard somebody say it today, that in order to be known in the to be seen first. And that, I just want to shout that for the listening to Noah, who's our newest entrepreneur in this building for power washing. But just, how do I get somebody who doesn't necessarily know me on a personal level to say, hell yeah, let's go. Heck yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I would say the way that you sell your mortgages to the local marketplace is there's some similarities in attracting people. Right? I mean, we're always selling. People are buying buildings from us, but they're also buying buildings from my employees. Right? I mean, we all use similar subcontractors. We use similar funding sources. So you have to sell. You have to sell yourself. How do you sell yourself? You be present. You encourage. You believe in them. You share with them what you're looking to do. If they come in and all you give them is an onboarding session that lasts for 30 minutes, and then you come back the next day and say, all right, do you have any questions? And that's it. That doesn't really show that you care. It shows that you know things. That's about it. So I would encourage you that when they come on, if they're interviewing, I would ask them what their goals are. We ask people, when we interview people, we ask them specifically, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you want to be? It's twofold. One, if they tell me that they want to own their own company, well, I'm not going to hire them. But two, if they tell me that they want to go to become from an assistant project manager to a project manager or to a project exec, well, that tells me that that person has drive. So I can't push that on the side. I have to keep that in the forefront. If there's truly opportunity for them to make that change, make that move. How much money do you? I don't know all the nuance in your business to be able to say what can draw out of that person's excitement, but you have to speak to their mind, to their emotions, and really to their dreams of what they're doing. Because yeah, you're right. There's plenty of mortgage companies out there, but what's the differentiator? Well, one, it starts with you. You care. It's such a cliche, but people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Well, it's true. Do you care? Because if I go and Devin and I are selling the same building and he's $1.5 million and I'm $1.4 million, but I'm a jerk and he's not, they're probably going to go with him because they don't want to deal with a jerk, right? So it's not dollars and cents always. It's you, yourself. Get invested in the people, invest in them, care for them when it's like put them ahead of you.
Is this question, is this for like consumers or recruiting?
Thank you.
I heard it. But get Courtney lost record. Not much to add. Yep. The more that you give, what happens, what you're trying to see, either information, education, out, public, open them out, involved in your transaction, you get to know the person, get the opportunity, develop centers of influences, there's lots of construction people. We do our own building. That we did not use the local contractors. I was got to go to this job force. Also the reputation of seller. We knew that everything was going to be and it was. And are they the least expensive? No, right. Say that most times. You're not the least expensive. But their reputation far exceeded even what I thought. There's things that happen. So minor, but in fact, anything happened. That was the reputation.
because, you know, education and education over the years, and also so anyway,
Thank you.
one easy thing I want to share.
What if I jump in?
What's up?
Sorry. No, I used to sell mortgages a long time ago, 30 years ago. And I remember asking my boss at the time, I said, you know, it's pretty much a homogeneous product, right? And you're selling basically the same rate, same kind of thing. And I said, why would somebody want to buy a mortgage from me than anyone else? He's like, because they have you. So that's the question you need to ask yourself. What sets you apart from other people? And if you don't think there's anything that's really setting you apart, set yourself apart. You know, continue to come to things like this and continue to grow and continue to consume positivity. And, you know, whatever's bringing people to you that are actually getting the mortgage from you is the same thing that's going to bring people to come and join your team. So.
One thing I always like to tell people is for the company. So again, vision's important. When you're sitting with somebody, what is your vision for the company? What is your vision for where we're going? Obviously, that's important. What I will say to you is first, an easy hack. This is for anybody. Find somebody that sits in a position that would make it easy for yourself. Right? That's one example. It's just finding somebody doing it and just mimic that. Like, what is that? Maybe it's somebody in a different market. Maybe somebody in that brand, all that stuff. I'll give you another example. About you, right? I brought on a team of 2 women to my real estate company who crushed it, right? Do you think it had anything to do with how I sell houses? No. They were attracted to me speaking on discipline. They know that they want to be more disciplined, and the reality is, for anybody to be more successful in business, they have to be more disciplined. People are attracted to discipline because most people don't. That's the reality. So that first day were attracted to me, and I say this kindly, they were attracted to be in my organization because they knew they needed more. Now, how do they see discipline, right? If you follow me, I show everybody every single day what my routine looks like. I go to a networking event, I ask me, when you get, they tell me my life, right? And that there's value, right? So one thing is, your vibe attracts your tribe. If you actually put out your vibe, you will attract people that will want to be in business. Most people do not understand this, right? Most people miss a ton of opportunity on social media because corporate America does not teach something on YouTube, right? And it's very effective. Speaking of my intern, speaking of social media and direct messaging, right? He came to my house one day. It was like day 2 starting, right? I was looking for a harvest speaker. I went, I never spoke to this guy at all. He was the old GM of the Eagles. I followed him on Instagram, right? I was like, hey, man, I literally booked a call with him on Instagram, cold message, and he saw me speak with the people on the phone. He's sitting there in my kitchen like, oh my God. And I booked him to speak, right? And I just say that's the power of social media, right? So one thing that you can do, and this is for everybody, you can do more and not get the results from it. In the harvest, I had a trainer come in to speak on Instagram, right? And how to develop your network and develop this Instagram. Every day, if you wake up, let's just say, right, I'm like, you know what? I want to connect with a high net worth community. I'm going to go to Mike's Instagram. There's a plus sign. It's going to then filter out all the people that are connected with Mike. Then you scroll through, check them. I want that dude. He's looking like he's crushing it. And then you start following them, right? What I would do with you, this is what I do with Realtors, which I have a meeting next week with one of the same strategy. Every day, you go to your Instagram and connect with your avatar, who you want to be. Women who are, I don't mean to be sexist, but maybe it's not just women. You want guys who do whatever. I think it's an easy hack for you to, power and stuff. But search women mortgage lenders, right? And you start connect. Next thing you know, 5 a day. Then you'll start seeing that if you're active on social media, you'll start being in your stories. You start seeing them you, and then they'll start interacting with your stuff. You can pick people off left and right. You know what I mean? This strategy right here is 10 extra. But when you talk about how do I recruit, I do the same stuff, but everybody's not you. But if you're not showing you don't have a brand. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows where you're going. Again, I recruited 2 women in their very seasoned in real estate. And the main reason why they wanted to be a part of my organization is because they love how disciplined I am. They feel like I will just make them better. And the only way that happens is because they follow my reality show every single day, and then I get them commercials. Right? That's another hack right there that explode your business. Well, if you run that way. But again, I just did a post today about that. Right? It's like show your reality show and your stories on LinkedIn. By the way, Sarah, that's LinkedIn. No, it works on LinkedIn. I'll give you all the testimonies in the world, and I crush LinkedIn all day long, which is probably the most wide open avenue to go right now. But I share that, man, and you get people fall in love with you and your realities and what your habits, what your routines are. Like they'll start interacting. I don't think you over time, but I share this too. One of my things that I'm doing now to level me up personally is trying to eliminate what I call recreational drinking. Drink for no reason, happy hours, weekends. I just want to be more disciplined when I want to choose to drink and just say, I don't want to drink less. And that wasn't fun. Not that I was drinking every day. I just don't like drinking on the weekends. Whatever. I woke up this summer. Nothing wrong with that. But what I did start doing was posting the fun of finding non-alcoholic beers. Right? Those are probably my most interactive posts. Business owners all over the place messaging me left and right. Dude, you know what? Like, I work for this company that you would never expect, but again, they fall in love with you. You're like, hey, you don't look like it, but he's in pie contests left and right. I'm trying to do that. But like stuff like that, and you're slowly starting to see on LinkedIn. Like, I love seeing just speaking of like John Baker's sandwich. He's now finally posting content on LinkedIn years and years later, and his thing is crushing right now, right? Because he's starting to storytell about his life, stuff like that, right? So that's a way that you can recruit people too, especially younger generation, all that stuff. But find, so this is the cheat code for whatever you want to do, construction management, whatever. But find the easiest way to help somebody is like follow that person. I do that with even something that I have in heart, so I'll be talking to somebody like follow that person, see how they do it. Like this is the start of like how you should be doing it, based off of what you tell me where you're going to go. That would be one of your business, right? Because then you're just spending your, I don't know, I'm just saying, where are we going? It's going to help you do more deals. Like you don't feel inspired, you don't even know what you're doing. You're just, I'm just making money, right? That's hopefully that. All right, guys, we're over, and I appreciate you guys going over 16 minutes. You guys can hang if you got further questions. Feel free to network and hang out. I'll be breaking stuff down. Thank you guys so much. You guys take a picture.